Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a webinar on occupational health and safety at workplace, organized by Pro Expo, SAFETYPRO EXPO, which is our first, I think, virtual exhibition in Pakistan on safety and health. So let me give my introduction. So my name is Mehboob Ali. I'm HSC regional manager for SGS in Middle East. So I'm looking after SGS operations for environment, health and safety, consulting and laboratory in the Middle East region. By qualification, I've done PhD in chemistry. So I'm a member of Australian Occupational and Hygiene Association. I am a member of Australian Environmental Consultant Association, as well as I'm a post qualified occupational health safety professional. So let me start with the introduction of my company. So SGS is a world leader in testing, inspection, verification, and certification company. So we are the biggest company around the globe by terms of revenue, by terms of business, in terms of portfolio of services. So let's have a quick look on SGS. So SGS is a Swiss-based company. We are registered in Swiss Stock Exchange. So we are world leader in testing inspection business. By volume, we are around 7 billion. We have a network of more than 140 countries with more than 2,600 offices, laboratories, and we have roughly around 100,000 employees across the globe. So we are present everywhere with our global experience, but with the local expertise and local experience to help and serve the industry. Our core services are inspection, testing, verification, certification, training, consulting. That are our core services. So we can say we are a one-stop shop. We offer all the services starting from testing, inspection, verification, certification, consulting. So we are a partner with all our clients to help them for all their needs. Either is a testing, is an inspection, is a verification, any sort of services. This is a history of SGS. So SGS started in 1878 with food inspections in Europe, but over 140 years, SGS grew and spread all over the world, starting from the America up to Africa. And then, starting from food services, then we diversified our business with the industrial, oil and gas testing, life sciences, customer services, environmental services, particularly environment, health and safety services. We started in 1970s, so we have more than 50 years experience in environment, health and safety services. So that is our global footprints, starting from America. We have biggest one, in Europe, Africa, and Middle East, then Asia Pacific. So all over all the continents. So we have offices, local team everywhere in across the globe. So SGS has 8 different business lines, which include oil and gas, chemical testing, industrial services, consumer testing, agriculture, food and life sciences, certifications. So environment, health and safety is one of the key business lines. So which is have a further 5 different subunits. So including environmental services, health and safety services, sustainability, laboratory, field testing, consulting services. So I'm going to go through only with the health and safety services, which is as a core for this webinar. So before starting with the health and safety, there's one question that we ask everyone. We have to think. So when we come on the sites, so everyone deserves to go home safe and at the end of the day. If we see from the employer perspective, so no employer want any of the accident, losses in his production. He want uninterrupted production. He will want no compromise on his reputation. And same way is every employer, every employee, he want to go home safely when he come to the workplace. So it's a collective responsibility of employer as well as employee to have a safe work environment on site. So which can be achieved together. So by employer, he provide safe work environment, tools, equipments, safe methods. Same way, employee has to follow all the procedures. They have to use the right tools. He has to do work safely for him, as well as his fellow workers. If we'll see, all over the world, we have a well-established occupational health and safety laws. For example, ILO is the umbrella which provide all the guidelines, regulations for all over the industry for health and safety. Then we have a local laws like Factory Acts, labor law, and there are a lot of things are there. But still, in presence of this one, still, I mean, if you see the database, ILO has reported around 2.2 million work-related deaths every year occur around the globe. So which is a quite big number, because there is one death every 15 seconds. So this is not a small number, and the largest share of these work-related fatalities come around 2 million from fatal injuries or casualty or accident on a workplace. And non-fatal related work is around 160 million. So 2 million is a quite big number, which can be reduced and controlled, I mean, if we have a safe work environment. So in terms of which can be achieved only if we have a sound occupational health and safety systems implemented on work site. So why is it necessary for employer as well as employee to have a safe, I mean, work environment on site? So one is our moral, our humanitarian grounds. So our life depends where exactly we work. So it's an employer responsibility to provide all the necessary resources to have uninterrupted operations. These facilities includes, I mean, it has to provide adequate tools, equipment, method statement, training for the peoples, and monitoring programs. Similarly, for employees, it's their responsibility to make sure, I mean, they follow the procedure, they do the work with the full care, and should not be risk for them as well as for their fellow workers. Similarly, second one is the social and legal reasons. So, I mean, it's our responsibility to take care of our society, our fellow workers, or our employees. And no employer want, I mean, legal actions or any of the criminal or civil law, and then he stop his production, and then he has to go for a legal formalities. The third one is economic and financial reasons. So, accident does not only loss of time, it's also, for example, I mean, if there is a fatality or a severe accident happens on a site, so it will means, I mean, the site will be stopped immediately. So the employer will lose the production, it will maybe lose the customer and orders, and then, I mean, he has to pay for accidents, he has to pay for example, damage of equipment, machinery, plant, or he has to pay for compensations, medical treatments, then he has to find a new workers. So it's all cost him. So it is basically the moral, social, as well as the economical reason to make sure the site is fully safe for the workers. SGS offer a wide range of services in terms of occupational health and safety, starting from the testing. It can be either is a exposure assessments, it can be air quality monitoring in need of services. Then, I mean, SGS offers a wide range of consulting services, which include, I mean, especially for the small and medium enterprises, which don't have a full capability or capacity. SGS can help them to develop the procedures, they can help them to do the risk assessments, we can develop procedures for them. So that comes our HNS management services. And the facilities which have a full systems, we can do an audit, we can do improvement, we can do a gap analysis that can further improve, because occupational health and safety system is a continuous improvement process. So, I mean, they can go from level 1 to level 2, level 3. So there is no, I mean, end line. Same thing, if we provide a lot of services for construction safety, we provide a construction supervision, we provide a trained manpower, we provide trainings, we do a project management, we do a planning and assessments, we do, I mean, a lot of, I mean, testing on our construction sites. Same thing, we provide industrial safety services, which include, I mean, hazard, quantitative risk assessments, so a lot of other services. So we have tomorrow another session on industrial safety that my colleague will cover that portion. So one of the occupational health and safety services which we recently developed is a COVID-19 recovery service. So if you can look into the pandemics, what happens, I mean, though we are in an unprecedented time, nobody knows, I mean, what can be happen tomorrow. So, I mean, if you see once in March or April, the COVID-19 came in, then everything has stopped. If we have a sound and occupational health and safety management systems, we can come out of pandemics faster than the others. So if you can just imagine if we have a 1 or 2 positive cases on a site, so what will be happen? I mean, next day the site will be closed. Everyone has to go for a screening. They will do that. They need to do a decontamination of site. Then they do the surveillance. They have to make sure, I mean, site is safe to resume. And it all costs in a lot of money as well as, I mean, maybe loss of production, maybe two of your clients customer will be go. So in that case, I mean, if you have a well-established, well-sound occupational health and safety systems, that can help you to minimize this risk. So SGS offer a COVID-19 recovery service, which include, I mean, a full inspection of site, including the review of procedures, protocols. We do our inspections, we do a testing, we can issue a certificate that give confidence to your customers that the site is fully assessed, ensured that, I mean, is a COVID-19 free, and the workers as well as the visitor or customer, they can visit the site without any hassle. So if we see, I mean, is a full protocol starting from the protocol of testing, protocol of cleaning. So we will review all the procedure, whatever implemented on site. We will do a cleaning, we do a sampling, and we verify if the site is free of any pathogens, bacteria, or viruses. Same thing, we do a testing of indoor quality and to ensure that, I mean, site is safe. Then we also review the safety procedures, I mean, protocols, but how the, I mean, site attend the visitors, clients, customers, so, and their staff as well. And then we can help to develop them the emergency response service. For example, I mean, in case if there is any suspected case on a site, so how you will handle it. For example, let's say if a case become positive, then how you will handle and how you will screen and clean up the sites without interrupting the business. So we can also help the clients to business continuity planning. So we can develop a business continuity plan for them to, in case of any unprecedented times. So in terms of COVID-19 services, SGS offer two different options. One is a SGS disinfection monitor programs, which is a full protocol where we're starting from review of procedures. We do a review of procedure, we will do inspection, we will identify some of the locations. For example, let's say, I mean, once the cleaning crew or a contractor who is coming to clean up the sites, so we will do an inspection of the sites. We will mark some sites with a UV marker, so that cannot be seen with the naked eye. But once that cleaning company can finish the disinfection, so we can do with the UV lights if all the high touch points are properly cleaned up. Followed by, I mean, we do some sampling of ATP, which can give us an idea if there is a proper cleaning and site is properly disinfected. So after meeting a certain criteria for testing, so I mean, we can issue a certificate. That certificate is for 1 year, valid for 1 year, but it have a surveillance for every 3 months or 6 months, including one surprise visit. So let's say, for example, and depending on complexity of the site or a process, so it can be a 3 surveillance, it can be a 4 surveillance or 6 surveillance, and one of them is a surprise surveillance. So we will do a testing. So in order to maintain that certification, so they have to do to follow the procedures and make sure all the surveillance become successfully passed. Another program is in partnership with the SGS, which is a lower option 2, which include, I mean, in case if the site is already have well-established protocols, especially for hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants, if they have our own procedures, so we can vet that procedure, we can review the procedures, we can do a virtual inspection. So this is much more customized as a program. So here is a long step-by-step details of disinfection monitoring marks. So first one is a full inspection. We normally send a checklist of questions. I mean, we ask them to share the procedure that they adopt for the cleaning of site and site management. We will review, we will do a gap analysis wherever we feel, I mean, some of the products or some of the materials they are using for cleaning is not adequate to disinfect the site. So we can give them a suggestions, they can revise their procedures, followed by on-site inspections. We do on-site inspections. After on-site inspections, we mark some locations, they will do a cleaning, then followed by, I mean, if they meet 80% criteria, then they will go to next step, which is a ATP sampling. After ATP sampling, if all the tests are passed, they can go for a certification program. Second one is a partnership, which is, I mean, a customized program. Third one is a consulting ad hoc. So for example, I mean, we do some of the comprehensive hygiene management for them. Let's say we take the samples of high touch points. We take samples from hygiene area, I mean, like swimming pools, like, I mean, spa, restaurants. So similarly, we do, I mean, prepare a training material for them. We can prepare procedures. So this is ad hoc consulting services depending on the needs of the customers. So we can do, I mean, training for the staff to how to ensure that the site is fully hygiene. So this is a step-by-step process for disinfection monitoring mark. So I mean, going through a document review, followed by a audit, and then I mean on-site preparation, inspection, followed by sampling and testing, and then they can complete with the certification program. So at the end of the day, they have a more peace of mind that their workers, their employees have a safe work environment. They can work without, I mean, any disturbance. So it also improves the image and confidence of the customers that the site is fully inspected and monitored. In addition to this COVID-19, so SGS offer a wide range of occupational exposures or industrial hygiene services, which can be depending on the nature of the industry, especially for high-risk industry like I mean oil and gas, petrochemical, or power plants, or refineries, or chemical plants. So SGS offer a wide range of industrial hygiene services to ensure that the workers or employees, they have a safe work environment and they are not exposed to hazard chemicals or materials on the work site. So these are main assessment include physical, chemical, biological, agronomical, or psychosocial contents. So basically, I mean, depending on industry, so that can be different. So SGS has a fully accredited laboratory around the globe, having the capability to do all type of exposure or personal exposure or risk assessment services. So it can be including the vibration assessments, especially for the metallurgical industry or high-tech vibration industries. So they can do a vibration assessment. The vibration assessment include a site vibration. It can include a personal exposure. Similarly for noise and chemicals, I mean, we can do extensive sampling programs for oil and gas industry, petrochemical plants. We do sampling for all the hazardous chemicals such as BTEX, VOCs, hydrocarbons, metals, toxic gases like I mean H2S, ammonia, nitrogen dioxide, SO2, all type of fluids we are. So our laboratories are accredited. We have a full-fledged I mean personal exposure sampling programs that we can provide to our customer. Similarly, we do a lot of ventilation assessments and programs, especially industry which have a very high temperature working environment, such as refineries or let's say, I mean, foundries, steel reloading mills. So in that case, we can do a assessment of the ventilation to ensure that the work environment is safe for the people who are coming for 8 hours or 12-hour shift on our sites. So they have access to a clean environment. So we do indoor quality assessments. Similarly, we can do also heat stress monitoring. We can do, I mean, biological substances such as the pharmaceutical industry or food industries. We want to ensure that, I mean, people are fully hygiene. Then, I mean, in addition to our testing services, so we offer a wide range of consulting services. So, I mean, typically for any of occupational health and safety management system. So what we need is I mean, there should be a policy, a commitment from the company that they have adequate procedures, they have adequate resources dedicated for a project or for a site. And then, I mean, they need organizations. So there's a procedure should be implemented. They have a safe work method statements. They have a procedures, operational procedures. They have emergency response plans. So everything should be planned. Then it need to be implemented. People should be trained. People should follow all these procedures. And then next one is a monitoring, where this industrial hygiene monitoring and other audits things will come. So basically you have to monitor that, I mean, system is working, and then is a continuous improvement. So that cycle will continue. I mean, you need to implement, you have to review the procedures wherever you can improve the procedures. We can improve the process. We can do the scanning based on the results. We can see if we need to readjust our goals. We need to readjust our procedures. We have to make sure, I mean, if the number of accidents are increasing or decreasing, so we have to change our policy and procedures accordingly. So SGS provide a full service to develop our systems. We can develop full procedures for technical procedures like method statements. We can provide prepare operation procedures, safety plans. Then, I mean, we can review that and we can help them with all the technical procedures. If I mean, already have the capacity to develop already the system, so then we can do a review, we can do a gap analysis, we can do assessments, plus we can do a workshop and training for the staff, and additionally, we can go for a certification program, which is like, I mean, previously OSHA's 18,001, now it's moved to 14,001. Another area which is, I mean, is offer a wide range of services is in terms of occupational health and safety is for construction sector. So construction sector is one of the critical area where most of the safety accident is happen, especially in a developing world. So I mean, we have a lot of accident because of the poor practices, lack of, I mean, training, lack of sufficient resources. In that case, I mean, SGS offer a wide range of services which include a construction supervision. We can provide a trained manpower, we can do a project management, we can do a supervision, we can do an audit. So this typical process is starting with, I mean, we can prepare a construction safety management plan for any of the project site. We can develop procedures, we can put it, I mean, all the plans and monitoring programs. Plus, we can do a training, induction programs for the staffs. We can do a risk assessment for procedures. We can implement permit systems. We can review all HSE reports and other things that ensure that all the contractors, not only the client, but all the contractors who are coming on sites, they have adequate resources. They have fully aware, I mean, on the site requirements. So we can review our full HSE document procedure systems. So we can do a safety studies for them. We can do permit to work procedures. We can ensure that, I mean, if the system is implemented or not. And in case, I mean, if required, we can provide the trained manpower so they can implement the system on behalf of our customers. Then, I mean, we offer a wide range of occupational health and safety consultancy for during the execution phase. So typically, some of the construction projects are a longer duration, such as 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. In that case, I mean, we offer a wide range of services which include, I mean, HSE training, compliance space entry, especially for the industrial projects. So we provide them, I mean, if there's more than one parties involved, or let's say if there's a regulator requirements to ensure that, I mean, all the reporting should be done on time. So in that case, we will provide a full technical support on HSE supervision, emergency response procedures, and implement work to permit systems. Same thing is of the closeout projects. So for example, some of our projects, once it's going to complete, there is a certain submission requirements to regulator as well as to the end users. So SGS provide all full reports for the HSE performance report, key findings, conclusions, I mean, and then their procedures. Things. So here is a list of our clients that we offer these occupational health and safety services, especially for industrial hygiene and consulting services for internal or external third-party audits. So it includes oil and gas sector clients, and that's it. So any questions? I mean, we can go for the questions answer session.
Zahid, are you there? There's a question that you can read and Mr. Mahmood can answer.
There is a question from Mr. Kamran that what qualification you offer for fire safety, construction safety, and process safety?
Yeah, these are three different sectors or areas of expertise. For example, I mean, it again depending on a country or an area where you are working. So, for example, fire safety requires different qualification and as well as for registrations. So, for example, I mean, if you're working on a safety area, so IOSH is a key qualification that you need to work in these sectors. For fire safety, typically, let's say, I mean, civil defense trainings that are really to do a work in a fire safety sector.
Okay. There is one requirement from Mr. Mustaq Ali that if we can kindly share the checklist for monitoring activities, but I don't think this one.
Yeah, I mean, there is a specific checklist for depending on a task. For example, if you're going to monitor for let's say industrial hygiene, So that is required, a different checklist. For example, what is a typical duration of the shift? What is the task if this guy who is going to monitor is performed? Plus, what are the key chemical or risk areas that is exposed to, and then definitely required for. Then you can plan, what exactly the parameters or tests that need to perform.
Sir, there are more questions in Q&A section.
Yeah, and again from Mr. Kamran, that do you offer CFPS for fire safety?
Yes, if it is meant by construction safety, fire safety. So fire safety, yes, we do full fire safety services, which include the testing of facade and those materials, which is a fire resistant. We also offer us services for a design review, which include for the industrial or the residential facilities. We do a review of design to ensure that is a appropriate level of safety.
Is there any link between NFP and health and safety?
In the end, there's no direct, but health and safety, it's 45,001 is going to give you a system. So how to, and what are the key components? Let's say, for example, any of typical management system like ISO 9000 or 14 or OSHA, or they are typically is a system that, what are the key components like, policy, procedures, objectives, targets should be implemented. But NFPA that give much more technical side. Let's say, you have a risk assessment method statement and those type of. So basically, one is more like a system requirement, other one is more like a technical requirement.
Does the health insurance plan is part of safety measures of employees?
Yes, as I mentioned, is an employer responsibility to make sure, he provide an adequate environment for all the work at the workplace, provide all the welfare facilities on a site. It should have adequate resources in terms of equipment, tools, trainings, procedures, and similar thing is for the insurance as well. Both for his business as well as for the workers, which is typically worker compensation.
Okay. And then in a specific country, do you set on standards or also incorporate the standard given by a country also?
So typically, in any of the systems, so for first most, obligation on you is a local law. So local law take priority on everything. Then because every organization has a different image objectives. Some of them they want to be like a global company. So in that case, first one is a local. And wherever the country has signed treaties or such as ILO, that will come a mandatory. On top of them, so if you want to adopt such as OSHA or international standards, so that will also give a big image for your organization, and also improve your patient health and safety on site.
Okay. Another question is for education sector. Is SGS providing air quality and disinfection monitoring certification? If there is any client in Middle East or Pakistan, if you can provide the details.
Yeah, especially in terms of Middle East, we offer a wide range of these services. So we have quite a big list of clients which is we are offering especially for hospitality sectors, which includes, hotels. Let's say Radisson Hotels, Zotana Hotel Group. So we certified them for disinfection monitors. We also did a lot of certification programs for schools, for shopping centers, especially for under the COVID-19. The most critical area is where the public gathers. So such as the cinemas, shopping centers, restaurants, hotels. These are most of the public areas where we have a more risk. So we have this service for all of these hospitality sectors.
Okay. There is one more question. In Pakistan, no one is offering certification corrosion. Do you offer this certification related to industrial?
For COVID?
No, corrosion services.
Yes, that topic will be covered on 28th. So one of my colleagues from industrial services is going to cover the corrosion things. So please attend the session, which is on 28th.
Okay. There is one more question from Mr. Salman. What is the future plan for home not following the HSA rules and regulations?
As I start of my presentation, that is a collective responsibility is for employer, for the employees, for everyone. Because if we have a certain environment, so everyone will be safe. For community, employer, government. So everyone has to play his part. So government has to play a part, put it our regulations to ensure that our regulation is followed. Similarly, for employer, he has to make sure he has adequate resources, make sure our employees, our community are safe. Same thing is for the employees. So is a evolutionary process. If you see 20, 30 years back and then now, so a lot of things has improved and changed. Similarly, we hope in future that there will be more awareness, there will be more implementation, and then definitely we will be one step ahead where we are now.
Do you offer hearing testing?
We do hearing assessment as well. So we also offer a noise exposure assessment. So typically for our workers who are working in a high noise industries such as steel rolling mills or chemical industries, in that case, we offer them a noise exposure assessment. So typically we put it on noise dosimeters that they can expose for a full duration of their shift, and at the end of the shift we will review how much they are exposed. That can be compared with the OSHA guidelines, which provide exposure levels for short terms and long term exposure. So that can give you an idea if their data noise exposure is going to impact him for a longer duration.
I think no further question.
Nice. Are there more questions?
No, not yet.
If we don't have any more questions, so then we can close the session.
Sure.
Thank you very much for all the participants and guests. For your valuable time. So to sparing some time for this event. So much appreciated. And then look forward to see you on other sessions, which is coming tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Thank you very much. Take care.